Big surprise, the O'Neill boys are reviewing another finished whiskey.
And what a surprise, it's fucking another short barrel.
And what a surprise, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But this one's based off of Bigfoot.
So a couple...
This one's called the Sap Squatch.
The Sap Squatch.
From Shortbarrel. It is straight bourbon whiskey finished in maple syrup barrels and toasted barrels. So technically it's a double finish, eh?
Yep.
So 3 finishes total?
3 finishes total. So I think we've gone into depth about Shortbarrel.
We've yapped about Shortbarrel.
On the other episodes we did, so we're not going to really discuss the distillery.
Our favorite thing so far with Shortbarrel has been the Afterstorm. That is like whiskey of the year contender. That was
for finished stuff.
Absolutely, that was
really good,
phenomenal.
But so a couple
ground rules. We really like finished whiskey in general. However, both of us are united in the opinion that rye whiskey in general is better for finishing than bourbon whiskey, and that is because
I just think rye whiskey stands up better.
Yeah, the rye spice.
The rye spice cuts
the
through.
spearmint notes. It stands up more, whereas with bourbon, unless you're very careful and very good,
it can get washed out. It can just
wash out. Just end up being a sugar bomb,
sweet mess of sugar that I can't drink. Now, on the interwebs is where I first even found Shortbarrel.
Yes.
To be honest, on Instagram. And they were doing a lot of stuff with this Sap Squatch. However, they were doing like single barrel picks.
Really?
All on their website. And in and around Georgia, right? Because I think they're in Atlanta. Yeah. So in and around there, some stores would have it. Now those super interesting, brilliant marketing, call it Sap Squatch, put a Bigfoot on there, finish it, obviously toast it up, and then maple syrup staves or maple syrup barrels. I wasn't listening to you.
At their barrels.
Okay.
We're actually not the biggest fan of maple syrup finishes in general.
No.
There's some decent offerings.
Well, we've had a couple, but they wind up being what? Way too sweet. So saw that on the interwebs, thought it was interesting. Just too damn lazy to go on a website and order shit. So I'm like, whatever, that's cool. And then we got into some of the other offerings as it came to Texas.
Yes, indeed.
So I read on their Instagram page that they were fixing to come out with a Sap Squatch. However, it was going to be like a batched thing for better distribution.
Correct. Rather than a limited release.
Yeah. So when I saw it at our local, I think I passed on it because for some reason in Central Texas, a lot of people aren't hit to Shortbarrel yet.
It's because they're not ready for it.
Yeah, which is fine because that means more for us.
Yes.
So I saw this at least 3 weeks in a row. Passed on it 3 weeks in a row. Why? One, it's not inexpensive.
No, it was 80 or 90.
Something like that. So it's not cheap. The second thing is bourbon finished with maple syrup barrels often scares me.
Yeah, it could often be too sweet.
And for the only reason that I bought 2 bottles of RD1 Maple when it first came out a couple of years ago.
Which was bourbon finished in maple barrels.
Bourbon finished in maple barrels, and it was too sweet. Mm-hmm. So passed on it for at least 3 weeks.
I believe it was me who convinced you.
Yeah, you kind of talked me into it. And
then it was purely off of appreciation for Shortbarrel.
Yeah.
Shortbarrel hasn't let us down yet.
They haven't missed yet.
And compared to the first sip, when this was a fresh crack.
We opened this, a couple weeks ago?
A couple weeks ago. Yeah. I think it's opened up quite nicely.
It's not overly sweet on the nose. You can tell it's finished though. You can tell it's got that sugary
different sugar from like the honey barrel finishes, which is purportedly what the bee's knees has, and what we know to be the Afterstorm. It's a very thick sweetness.
Yeah. So it smells great.
Tastes it. I think you'll be surprised. I found that the oak influence was far more pronounced on this second try as compared to our first impression.
Oh, there you go. I wish they were paying me to say nice stuff about their product.
If you want to sponsor us, do it.
We have 3 bottles. I mean, that's a freaking banger.
Yes, it
That's
is.
so good.
Yes, it is.
It's not quite, it wasn't when we tried it a few weeks ago. It was mapley sweet, but not overly mapley sweet.
No.
Since it's opened up, though, God, I gotta go for round 2 because that's.
Talk to me briefly before we really get into the weeds on this. What is the benefit of letting a whiskey open up? What does it even mean to let a whiskey open up? Because I had a colleague of mine. He told me that he had to finish a bottle of whiskey that he had before it went bad. I looked at him kind of funny, and he was under the impression that if you let a bottle of whiskey aerate for too long, it goes bad.
Well, so it depends. So if you get a bottle of whiskey, let's say we buy this, we're having a whiskey share, right? Which is, I wouldn't do this, but you just pop all the corks on the whiskey that you got out there. Everybody's pouring and sharing.
Yeah.
And then you leave the bottle open for
a couple of days.
I don't know, maybe even a week because you got drunk and then you had to go to work and whatever. Whiskey can go bad.
Yes, specifically if you leave it uncorked.
Yeah, air kills whiskey. Sunlight kills whiskey. Those are the 2 things.
You shouldn't store your bottles in a windowsill.
Yeah, or in a garage. Right, because heat will do that. Heat will shrink your cork. Dry it out.
Unless it's an artificial cork, but even then.
I wouldn't want to do that. So whiskey can go bad. To your question, well, back it up a little bit.
Yes.
I've got bottles that are that are low. I've got bottles that are half full.
Mm-hmm. We got bottles from the 80s.
76 or 79.
Something like that.
I think it's not, you can see it. Is it 79 on the donkey?
76.
76. So you got whiskey almost as old as me.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go bad.
No.
If you take care of it. Now, as far as your question goes, the opening up, it's a somewhat contested.
Contentious.
Yeah. Some people, and I watched things about this years ago, because some people are adamant that, if you get a bottle, a fresh crack is going to be different than if it sits and gets a little bit of oxygen in it, just from opening the bottle, pouring it, capping it back, because now you've got air trapped in there.
That's correct.
Some people, I've watched videos on this, they did random blinds and people couldn't tell the difference.
Sure.
Now, from my own personal experience, I think for a fact whiskey changes once it gets a little bit of air.
You can taste it, especially in something that's lower in alcohol by volume, like wine, for example.
Yeah.
Wine goes bad real fast, even if you recork it, because it aerates very quickly.
Well, let's not that we're changing the subject on this
Not
one
at all.
but the Lasso Motel,
Yes.
the Takaji,
Yes.
right? When we bought that, a couple of weeks later, we tried it, and I wasn't the biggest fan. Like it had way too much of that Takaji wine barrel influence.
Yes.
When we shot the video, we drank it, and I'm like, oh, this is mellowed out. Like this has changed a little bit. Mm-hmm. So,
usually what happens with whiskey when you let it aerate and relax, it mellows out some of the harsher notes. Like suppose that the flavor profile was like this. Usually, if you let it air out for a bit, it evens out.
Right. Okay. So now,
Talk to me.
Instead of, it's amazing. It's so good. Think of, instead of maple syrup, think of those maple cookies that your Aunt Alice used to send us from Canada.
I do remember that.
You know what I mean?
I do know what
They
you're
had
talking
that
about.
maple flavor, but it wasn't like over the top maple syrup.
Here's another one for you. Graham cracker. Reminds you of graham cracker.
Yeah, like a maple graham cracker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very bready. Wow.
Now this is cool because this isn't a pick.
Nope. It's their batch release, as you mentioned.
6+ years, 108 proof, which we talked about in prior. Oh, you bastard! Almost broke my whiskey, dude. That pissed me right off.
Oh yeah, dude.
Man, that pissed me off. But we talked about it with the Elijah Craig Toasteds, the Woodford Double Oak, the Old Forester 1910. We talked about this probably a year ago.
At this point,
that I said, when they start coming out with double oaks at higher proofs, it's going to be a game changer. And then Peerless did, and then, Shortbarrel did with their toasted at 108, 110 proof, and OKI did with their store pick.
OKI was very impressive.
Yeah. So on the higher proof, this stuff, it holds up really well. I'm actually really glad we got it. To be quite honest, surprising.
Yeah, very surprising.
Because like you mentioned before, I'm not love finished bourbons, but when you come out with a new bourbon that's finished in another, fancy, barrel or something.
We've been burned too many times. We've been around this block too many times.
But this isn't washed out at all. The fact that I get that, like those Canadian maple cookies as opposed to like pouring maple syrup in your
directly into the glass.
Yeah, which is not to shit on RD1, but
they try.
That's like the RD1 for me. The RD1 maple, where it's just.
I'd say the RD1 tastes closer to the Knob Creek maple, which is
that's a good point.
Whiskey with like
maple flavoring.
Mm-hmm. Whereas this, I really appreciate that it leans heavily onto the oak influence, the third finishing, whereas the maple plays a supporting role, which it really should be relegated to.
Yeah, that's put together really well. I think I mentioned this with the other two videos that we did on Short Barrel. Whatever the hell they're doing and the people they have doing it, just keep doing it.
His boys are masters.
I don't know who's doing it, but good Lord, that's.
I think we owe
really good.
I know you passed on it before, but I think we gotta at some point try the bee's knees at this point.
At this point, they haven't done us dirty yet.
They haven't done us wrong, and it's one of their more popular releases. So I'm thinking that it's gotta be. I think it's gotta be pretty good. This was the single release from Short Barrel that we were the most skeptical about, and it's really
to be honest, for
really
me,
impressive.
It was the bee's knees and the Sasquatch.
It was tied.
I was a little nervous. I was nervous about both, just because spent enough time in bourbon to know that honey barrels and maple syrup barrels can go wildly off track. And and here's the thing, $80, $90.
It's a lot of money, but
it's not cheap. And in this day and age, friggin' diesel's $5 a gallon.
That's true.
I got a 25-gallon tank. That shit's not cheap to fill up. Groceries are expensive, so I understand that a lot of the, they come out with an $80, $90 bottle, and it's like, oh, that's just the cost of doing business, and it's like, yeah, it is, but if people have been in this world for a while and have had some finishes that haven't been.
Or you've been burned by
executed quite right.
MVPs before, like our Nemesis, Nulu, or even better MVPs like Blue Run or what have you.
They're at least better, but
either way,
whatever.
Short Barrel is the exception. Short Barrel has not let us down a single time. They are without a doubt the most exceptional finish.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Whiskey producers.
Well. Yeah, arguably the OKI pick we have.
The OKI pick was really good.
That's a tough one to beat.
That's a really good one.
But you think about it: toasted barrels, maple syrup barrels. The other bottle we have is toasted barrels. Mm-hmm. The rye that we have is
honey barrels.
Yeah, honey barrels. We're kind of killing it.
When they haven't mucked it up.
Not so far. Now, some people might, it might not be them. It might not be for their palate, perhaps. But as somebody people that have
450 bottles,
a vast array of whiskey and enjoys almost all of them, I'm super excited. This is This is great. And like I said, not overdone.
Not
Which
overdone.
to me is, when it comes to bourbon, well, it comes to anything. Hell, if it's too left or right, that could be,
If it's too much.
just come off weird, you know?
Certainly.
This is not, it's a small batch, so it's not a single barrel. The proof's cool at 108. Finishing barrels are cool. It's just, it pulled off perfectly.